Our MPs spent the day attacking each other without missing a beat.
Trashy boganism.
The one who's got the real bogan problem is Mr. Logan.
The vision is a brain fart.
I'm not. Unfortunately, I can't be so crude.
Branded a cheapskate.
Okay, you gonna give me my $3 change? Yeah.
Get over it.
He's a very bitter man.
Just held his hand in a certain way and moved it up and down.
Who says size doesn't matter?
You don't have the numbers, do you?
No one is sacked.
That does require an answer.
Jeff. Poof, gone.
I'm Malcolm Turnbull. I come from Waverley.
Don't come knocking on my door, because you ain't going to get an interview out of me.
Are you a Muslim?
I don't know whether it's in that AeroGuard. I think that AeroGuard is called cow manure.
Australians can spot a fake when they see one.
Who just wants to get ahead through an investment property?
You're scum, Shorten.
Good video.
Australian people have still got a sense of humour and think something that's funny is funny.
Advertisements were in the worst of taste.
Some people do want to rake over old coals, but I don't.
I prefer bottoms. In a bit of Don't give me all this, you big Belgian waffle.
I suggest that this kind of interrogative journalism is exactly what's been wrong with Australian politics over the last number of years.
Do you have anything to say at all, Mr. Clegg?
Do you have a message for the public?
Sorry, I f***ed up. Fair enough.
Can you say why you lit those fires?
Sure.
Did I commit the offence? Off out of my face.
Camera, out of your faces now.
No. You can't film no more.
Look great, I sound great, I smell expensive. I mean, what more do you want?
Perfect hug is 3 seconds long, he reckons.
Good to know, good to know.
Haven't got anyone at 7 that you could lend us just to tide us over, have you?
You can all get stuffed if you want to have a go at us.
We sort of greet each other with a kiss every morning.
Okay, well, get rid of him, mate.
Done reservedly apologise to everyone for my actions.
Got a list of behavioural and physical problems as a result of inbreeding.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
There you go.
Do you think you're tracking pretty well for round one?
I don't know. Interpret the press conference and make a judgment. Bring back the beef, eh? Bring back the beef. Let's get it rocking. Our anus horribilis, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm not quite sure where you're trying to direct the question.
I mean, it's been plugged as the most unanticipated derby in recent years.
Okay, well, what are you doing here?
I want to come and have an interview with you as well. That's the reason why I'm here, so just to see your eyes for the first time. So don't blush, baby.
Okay, cheers, Tom. Don't blush, Tom.
Have a good day.
Please welcome back to the stage, Matt Tinney and Tracy Vo.
I didn't trip you up that time.
No, thanks for that.
Welcome back, everybody. Our next category is Best Sports Report. The Gilmore Christian Prize is sponsored by Lion. Please welcome Marty Saxon to present this award. And the finalists are... Geez, it must have cost her a bit to enter this year. Courtney Bembridge, Safety Concerns at WA Racetrack, ABC News Online. Nick Ryan, Waffle Stars Family Heartbreak, The Weekend West. And John Townsend, Eagles Dodge Drugs Bullet, The West Australian.
And the WA Media Award goes to John Townsend.
John Townsend used traditional reporting skills to break his story about the West Coast Eagles' inadvertent use of banned substances. His exclusive, in-depth story set the agenda for Perth sporting media in the wake of Essendon's drug furor and revealed how the Eagles had avoided a repeat of the Bombers' scandal.
Congratulations, John. Well, the next category is for Best Columnist, the Matt Price Award, and it is sponsored by the West Australian. I'd like to welcome the editor, Brett McCarthy, to present the award, and the finalists for Best Columnists are Liam Bartlett, Weekly Columns, The Sunday Times; Andrew Probyn, Probyn Columns, The West Australian; and Shane Wright, The Innovation Battle, The West Australian.
And the winner is Liam Bartlett.
Oh, come on. Fair go. I don't think he's here tonight. So I suppose
we've got a video.
I will accept the award on behalf of my colleague.
You accept the award, and we do have a video.
Liam Bartlett is the consummate columnist, with the ability to hone in relentlessly on his subject and then broaden the parameters of the argument in a way that serves to skewer his subject all the more, as seen in his piece on Lord Mayoral perks. With a neat, often amusing turn of phrase and sound research skills, these columns are a must for readers and often set the WA media agenda for the week ahead.
Does say he was hopefully going to be here. I think if he does come, we should get him up for a photo. I mean,
indeed.
Given we got Cam up here after his toilet break. Okay, this is very exciting to welcome a new addition to the WA Media Awards. Please welcome Jo McManus from Edith Cowan University. She's taught almost everybody here, I think. Jo joins us on stage to present the Radio Audio Journalism Best News Story or Feature Award. Wow, everyone's got, I reckon there's pom-poms out there for you, Jo. The finalists
Popular lady.
Lauren Day, man facing deportation despite living in WA since infancy, ABC PM. Joseph Dunstan, Carnarvon Aboriginal Flag Debate, ABC Radio Northwest WA. And Ryan Emery, giving voice to regional migrants, SBS World News. Tebow.
And the award goes to Lauren Day.
Facing deportation to a country he has no memory of.
There's no information, you can't get any information, there's a constant struggle.
Lauren Day uncovered the story of Ian Whiteman, a 51-year-old man awaiting deportation from Christmas Island as a non-citizen, despite only ever knowing life in Australia. Her feature revealed the results of controversial changes to the Migration Act and told an exclusive story from inside the Christmas Island Detention Centre by phone.
Now we come to television, audio, visual journalism. This is our category, Tebow. We've got a category, Best News Story or Feature, sponsored by Media Super. We're joined by Patrick Horniman again to present this award, and the finalists are Liam Bartlett, Who Killed Josh Warneke, 9 News, Western Australia. Would you like a little cheer, Tebow?
Yes, hello, woo.
Lauren Day, A Look Behind the St John Ambulance Suicides, ABC 7:30. And Jessica Page, Parents versus Doctors, 7 News, 6 p.m. I'll cheer that one. And the winner is Jessica Page.
The little boy's parents say they're a family on the edge of meltdown.
The judge has ordered the 6-year-old undergo treatment.
Jessica Page's exclusive report sparked discussion across the country and was particularly impressive given her time restrictions to compile the report. Jessica's story would be the first in an ongoing battle, with the family ultimately winning the right to stop chemo and radiation therapy for their terminally ill son, generating huge public interest in the legal battle between doctors and parents.
Congratulations, Jess. Moving to the print.
Someone's lost it.
Oh, someone. Oh, that's yours. Suits you, Tinny. Suits you. Moving on to print text, we start with Best Feature Writing, sponsored by Laban Legal. And joining us on the stage is Nick Stagg. And the finalists are Andrew Burrell, The Utopia Project, The Weekend Australian Magazine. Annabelle Hennessy, Riptide, Bodybuilders Investigation, The Sunday Times. And Victoria Laurie, Trailblazer, The Weekend Australian Magazine.
And the winner is Andrew Burrell.
Andrew Burrell's fascinating feature took us inside the mysterious ideal human environment experiment on the outskirts of Kununurra in remote Kimberley. Burrell broke new ground by going inside this highly unorthodox social experiment and pulling back the curtain on an untold, unusual, but very human story right in our backyard.
Congratulations. We move on to Best Print Text News Report, sponsored by the West Australian. We're joined by Michael Beach to present this award. And the finalists for Best Print Text News Report are Brett Christian, series subject Killer Revelations, Post Newspapers, Perth. Andrew Probyn, Medicare Privatisation, the West Australian. And Joe Spagnolo, Freight Link, the Sunday Times.
And the award goes to Andrew Probyn.
Andrew Probyn's Mediscare series dominated both public and parliamentary debate until the government was forced to abort the highly risky privatisation plan just a fortnight before polling day. Probyn's stories were incisive, his analysis accurate, and they impacted heavily on the election campaign.
Congratulations, Probes. Now we present the Arthur Lovekin Award, and Helen Fordham from the University of WA is here to present the award.
The winner.
And the winner is David Cohen. Now the post...
Table 3's going off.
It's going off. Now, the Post is well known for good investigative journalism at a local level. The panel felt that this series of articles addressing changes to strata law was an excellent example of a story of key topical interest that might otherwise have gone largely unreported. David Cohen's articles highlighted the consequences of proposed legislation that will alter the balance of power between developers and individual property owners. The author was able to report the story in the broader context of the erosion of individual rights, and he showed tenacity in following the story. He used an array of sources to expand the original story in a cogent manner. Although the scope of local paper reporting obviously differs from that afforded by national publications in terms of reach, but the panel felt that this kind of journalism is nonetheless valuable, impactful, particularly in the community at which this article was targeted. Well done, David. Love you too, Dave.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. The final categories, the major gongs of the 2016 WA Media Awards. 2 categories are all that stand in the way of us, and the D floor, it's a frightening thought for some. Now,
that's what you've been waiting for, the D floor, haven't you? You guys want to get a boogie.
Outstanding Contribution to Journalism, the Clarion Award 2016. Tonight's recipient joins an illustrious group of journalists who've shaped our West Australian industry. This award is peer-nominated and celebrates long-term commitment to excellence in journalism and achievement in the industry. Sponsored by the Media, Entertainment and Arts Alliance, Neil Pryor joins us in presenting the award for Most Outstanding Contribution, the Clarion Award 2016.
I've been told I'm going to say a fair bit here, so just be patient with me. The Clarion was named after Union's 1980 national strike newspaper, The Clarion. It's the only award in the nights reserved for members of the Media, Entertainment and Arts Alliance. The WA Media Section Committee awards the prize after considering the quality of work, but also the contribution of the person to the industry. Tonight's winner entered journalism relatively late in life, mid-30s, but has quickly made his mark as a multi-award winning reporter. No more tonight, but well, that's life. He's also a Rusted-on MIA member whose commitment to the cause has been evident from the get-go and has been an important mentor to me as I've been trying to deal with some guano lately. This guy did a gong in journalism at Edith Cowan University and then landed a gig at Aspermont. And he covered biotechnology and mining rounds. He was then snapped up by News Corporation to work on the small business team and set up to support the fledgling Perth Now website, which, well, will soon be working with me. In early 2012, he quit news, jokingly telling colleagues in a farewell email, which probably a few people should listen to right now, "I'm off to clean toilets, wait on tables and catch malaria over at the swamp." In fact, he's been at the top of his game at the West Australian, covering the resources round, but also, well, kicking goals in other fields. Last year he picked up with someone else who's hanging on to him and basically sharing in his glory the Best News Award and the Black Beck Political Prize for revelations about Transport Minister Dean Elder's business dealings. As a colleague who worked on these stories, I can tell you that throughout the day and sometimes into the night, he's worked hard, very hard, to build a network of contacts across business, politics, and in what journalists like to call the dark side. And having spent some time early in his career on that dark side, this guy is very aware of what goes wrong inside the halls of power. I think he actually contributed to some of those mistakes. But as one colleague on the dark side so said about the winner tonight, he is so successful at cultivating the dark side because he is so damned fair. He has a reputation for playing hard but fair in both the social and business end of journalism. He's shown himself to be fearless and ferocious in his approach to stories, and similarly in his approach, as he's happy to tell you, to those big nights at the Diggers and Dealers. I know firsthand he's not afraid to seek the counsel of colleagues with specialist knowledge. He's been a mentor to young reporters, particularly those in the regional areas, who are struggling at the moment to deal with some really, really tough career prospects. And he's been one of those people that has actually helped in that. And he's made a principled point of sharing byline glory with those who help him get the good tips. Often old hands in journalism bewail the loss of hard-working, hard-drinking, hard-playing players in today's journalism. But in a very real sense, tonight's winner is the old style. It is a hard-drinking, hard-partying journalist. But a Luddite he is not. He has willingly embraced new technology in 21st century journalism, especially in relation to the first rule of reporting of keeping contacts well and truly in your loop and sources confidential. This is especially important in the exponentially expanding area of electronic communications and the big brother approach of government to communications everywhere and to data retention. Tonight's winner has worked out how to work both sides of the road, how to actually use data in his favour and actually screw down information from within that data. With tech whiz Graham Boland, he developed the idea into a Crypto for Journalists workshop to teach members how to protect their sources and avoid being spied on. A combination of PowerPoint presentations and tips from practical experience was well received at training session. And he basically has been turned into a national online training module for journalists to understand the game we're in. He's anything but a quiet achiever. In fact, he is so bloody noisy he actually made in his early stages, which was left out of the early part of this presentation. He didn't actually go straight into journalism. He worked as a bit of a pretty crappy PR job at a pretty crappy suburban council. But from this gig, he managed to make the pages of the Australian newspaper, and I actually quote directly. Headline, concise PR shock. The body of the copy says, "We all love a sharp response from a public relations operative, but this one, in response to a question from Brian Mitchell, editor of the Fremantle Herald, is a classic. First question," we've all written these pompous questions, haven't we? "Have you resigned or have you been sacked? Why are you leaving, having been appointed only recently to your position?" To which this person responded, "I have not been sacked. I am leaving on excellent terms with my colleagues and management. As to any other questions, they are, like the rest of my personal life, none of your effing business." Signed, Nick Evans, Media Liaison Officer and Coordinator, City of Cockburn. As by now, you have guessed, the Clarion for 2016 goes to Nick Evans from the West Australian.
This is an extraordinary and a very surprising honour. This is also, I should point out, an attempt by my colleagues at the West to talk me into getting onto the House Committee, because I have so far resisted that call. Look, I am, for the first time in a long time, speechless. I would like to thank my colleagues and for Neil, who, frankly, I'm surprised is still speaking to me after the couple of stories a couple of years ago where we became the joke of the office after fighting so badly. If I have to make any remarks, I know that there are a number of my former students in the room, and there's an awful lot of young reporters from our regions that I know I speak to a fair bit. I guess if I have something to say about this is that times are really tough for us in the media industry at the moment, and particularly newspapers. It's a very hard time for us. But to those young reporters who I think are struggling with low wages, lack of resource and all the rest of them, all the rest of those things, nothing has changed about our industry except the amount of money in it. Yeah, advertising is short. The amount of money available to pay us to do our jobs is very short. But nothing else has changed. The crooks, the scumbags, the liars, the crooked politicians are still out there. And more so than that, they grow ever bolder every day because we have less resources to do our jobs. So to those young reporters in the room, now is the time that your reputations can be made. Yeah? Now is the time to hold people to account. Now is the time to put the extra couple of hours in. As Martin Saxon, who taught me how to do my job when I went to the Sunday Times, says, you don't win awards, you don't win anything by working 9 to 5, but now is the time to double down and do our damn jobs, because it is more important than ever. Yeah? And I would like to thank all of those colleagues, because I am standing on the shoulders of giants. I have learned enormous amounts from the people I've worked with, and the people that I compete with every day. I read the stories of Andrew Burrell and Paul Garvey and my direct competitors every day, and I look at them every day and say, how do they beat me to that story, and what can I do to make sure I don't get beaten tomorrow? Yeah? Competition is also the lifeblood of this industry. And for those young reporters out here, because you are the future, yeah? Look to what people like me and others do, look to what you did not as well as them, and get up and go, fuck it, tomorrow I ain't going to lose, yeah? Yeah. Thank you very much.
That's what we do too, though. Fantastic words.
Yeah, fantastic words. Thank you, Nick, for that. And hopefully you have inspired a few of the young reporters out there, because it is very important indeed.
We still class as young, don't we?
Yeah, I hope so. Look, now to tonight's final award, West Australian Journalist of the Year, Daily News Centenary Prize 2016. Where our panel of judges recognised West Australia Media's best work for 2016, and the award is proudly sponsored by Curtin University and will be presented by Dr. Joseph Fernandez.
And the winner of the West Australian Journalist of the Year Daily Centenary Prize 2016 is Andrew Probyn. Judges awarded Andrew Probyn for his series of stories about the federal government's plans to privatize the Medicare payments system. Probyn's stories were a standout in a competitive field, detailed, clearly written, and providing astute analysis. They had a major impact on federal politics. Probyn wrote, "Reforms don't get much bigger or more politically dangerous than this. Turnbull will have to decide whether a massive privatization of national health payments is worth the political pain. Does he roll the dice, or will this be another bright idea left for another time?" The Mediscare story, as it became known, dominated much of the debate throughout the election campaign, with the issue dogging the federal government and Malcolm Turnbull abandoning the plan 2 weeks out from the poll. Congratulations, Andrew.
This is indeed a great honour. May I first say that as a Lancashire-born lad who spent some time in Africa, then moved to Melbourne, has spent a third of his 45 years working in Canberra, it's brilliant being a West Australian. I haven't had the opportunity before to say this, but there's one person who I'd like to thank for being a West Australian, and it's a fellow that sadly died back in 2007, Matt Price. And I've been very honoured to win that award that's named after him. Matt Price was a wonderful fellow. We worked together at News Limited for a while. I was at News for 9 years, and I'd skipped over to work for the ABC for 2 years, 2 great years down in Tasmania. And Matt rang me when I was down there and he said, Braves, this is a fucking great job at the West Australian. The editor, well, he's a bit interesting. If it goes well, you know, credit me. So I'm crediting you. He indeed was a very interesting editor, Paul Armstrong, of course. A controversialist, that's the new term of the moment. But I've loved every moment with the West Australian. This industry is indeed going through some great changes, very difficult changes especially in newsprint. But there's still nothing like, and this is a message a bit like Nick's really. Thanks Nick for your speech. But the great thing about journalism is what a grand profession it is. And it is a profession. But it's also a profession that's got really great side benefits too. The thrill of breaking a story and just nailing it, you know, and having the job and the role in life to ask really cheeky, bloody cheeky questions. You end up being someone else as a journalist. Something that in my 20-odd years, I've been trying to teach the younger journos who come, you know, within my distance, and we're quite far away in Canberra. But you know, I always say, you know, remember, there are techniques, there are games. This is a profession. You have the capacity to seek answers and seek truth and justice and all those things, and they do count. But let me also thank a few people. The West Australian in particular, as you all know, we've been going through some very difficult circumstances. It's very difficult when your industry shrinks, and wherever you are in the media landscape, it is shrinking, because every opinionista on the internet thinks that they're more worthwhile than proper journalism, which is balanced and fair and even-handed. But, you know, the West Australian, we've been going through some issues. We're going to have a bigger family soon, which is great. So Sunday Times, you know, welcome. I don't think it's been signed yet, though, the contract, but I'm sure it will be. But can I thank Brett McCarthy? I think that one of the loneliest jobs in journalism is that of editor under such circumstances. Brett has shown, you know, great kindness in difficult circumstances to many of his colleagues. These are very tough for people who are in, out, and then well out. And he has shown kindness in difficult circumstances, often against the likes of some people who think that they know better, and we all know who they are. HR. Yeah. So good on you, Brett. You've always been a great support for me. The West Australian is well represented in Canberra. We have 4 journalists. It takes me great delight as a Lancastrian / Nigerian / Melburnian / Tasmanian / Canberran / West Australian to get the West Australian mentioned at every moment possible in Canberra. And my God, it's great when people come to our bureau and say, fucking West Australians. This is going live, isn't it, on the web? It's not live, it's not ABC telly though. So that's the great thing. I'd also like to thank Mark Malabone, because Mark Malabone I knew when he was in Canberra, and he's one of the smartest guys I know in journalism. He's he's one of those guys who's got a steel trap mind, and whatever comes past it is not only caught but retained. And lastly, I'd like to thank Nick. And Nick, if you ever want to come back to Canberra, you do that, Nick Budley. Anyway, thank you so much. I'm greatly honoured, and thanks to the union, and thanks to the hosts. What a wonderful job you've done. Thank you so much, Matt and Trace. And anyway, let's have fun. Thank you so much.
Fantastic speech.
Yeah, thank you, Probes. Love having him back here in WA. Well, that concludes the 2016 West Australian Awards presentation. Congratulations again to everyone who has won tonight. You have done us all proud. A full list of the winners and finalists, judges' comments will be up on the website this evening. Thanks again to our sponsors as well. And we'd like to ask all the winners to assemble in the foyer for a group photo, so don't run away just yet.
Thank you very much for your hospitality. We've been honoured to be your hosts this evening. Enjoy the rest of the night. The dessert buffet, we've been waiting for this.
Get a sugar high, guys.
Is waiting for you, and the amazing sounds of Murphy's Law are ready to move you up onto your feet. We must also thank all our fantastic sponsors again, and especially everybody who entered the awards. Without you, we wouldn't have these awards, and it's really the cream of the crop who've won tonight. So congratulations, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for being wonderful. Don't forget your photo outside, guys. Enjoy the rest of the night.
The 2016 West Australian Media Awards are made possible thanks to Curtin University, The West Australian, The Sunday Times, Media Super, Lavan Legal, Edith Cowan University, the Public Transport Authority, Community Newspaper Group, Bird in Hand, Lion, Gordon Reed Family Foundation, OBWA, and the Walkley Foundation.